You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Palace of Mega Pencils. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Hello, and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Well, happy Monday.
What a week. What a week it's been.
It has been. You had a phenomenal week.
Well, maybe a little. I mean, I was talking more like, all the stuff happening in the world. I mean.
Oh, my God. Well, I mean, that's just, dear Lord. It's been.
This past week was just.
All around.
Yeah. Controversy after controversy. I didn't realize how many people loved and hated the Queen.
Oh my goodness, I think I was quite ignorant too. Well, I mean, considering the history now and everything, I'm like, I can understand. I think everyone's opinions are valid. But yeah, I wasn't aware it was that bad myself, personally. But I mean, American school system, how much do we really learn the nitty-gritty, the real stuff?
I mean, I think when we were talking about it, when all of it was just kind of unfolding, because you kind of pointed me to all the hate.
Yeah, well, it all escalated so quickly in my perspective because I was actually doing errands and stuff that day. As soon as I sat down, it was just about to, my terminally, no life. So I sat down. I'm like, I'll flip through Twitter. It was like, she was sick. She died. Hate. And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
I was gone for 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. It was bizarre because I did, like you said, we're ignorant to it. We didn't know. I mean, in fact, and I could be wrong about this, but I kind of noticed like a trend when it came to the love and the hate. A lot of the hate,
where it came from?
Yeah, the hate was coming from the British, like 100%.
Oh,
and
really?
Then, but maybe I'm wrong.
Irish, which is also very fair.
Okay, so very European countries.
Yes, that surround them.
But yet,
very differing opinions.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, America, where, she was so elegant, she was so beautiful, and...
Because we have nothing like that, I think, so we're just too enthralled.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, or don't misunderstand us, we're not trying to be disrespectful in any way, we're just talking broadly about...
This is what it looked like from our perspective, sitting over here across the pond, I guess,
And in all fairness... Anyone who's going to criticize the Queen should have had to deal with the Queen. I can say nothing. I am an American.
Right.
If you lived under her rule and whatever her decisions, the family, everything affected you in some way, then you have absolute right to criticize.
Absolutely.
And be mad or not upset that she's dead, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Because the monarchy, and the monarchy still remains, so it's not like her death ended it.
No.
So.
I mean, I guess we could see how he wants to rule.
Yeah.
If it'll be any different, I don't know.
It's
a strange thing for me, because I know they're not supposed to necessarily be involved in politics, but they're kind of still running the things. I don't know. Like, it's a different setup that I don't fully understand, but...
And clearly no one over here understands it either. I heard the most ignorant comment saying, from the Trump supporters that I have to listen to, repeat Fox News.
Yeah.
The comment was, well, Queen Elizabeth died. I mean, she ruled long enough, like she was, elected or some shit. And she's like, just like that Pelosi. And I was like, oh my God.
Laugh now because
I was just like, those things do not equate in any way whatsoever. Jesus Christ. This is why, I mean, when they say the education in the United States is, not on par with other countries.
Here we go. Yeah, no,
and this was
true.
an older person. So...
Well, it's like the older I get, the more I start to realize none of us know what we're talking about. I don't care how old you are anymore. None of us know anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when you're a kid, you're like all these adults with all this wisdom and this, and then now that I'm at that age, I'm just like, nobody knows anything.
No. So I'm so, rest in peace, the Queen. I didn't know you.
Right. Yeah, I don't
know. Sorry for your loss over there, the monarchy and what have you.
Or congratulations, I guess. It depends on who you are. I don't know. Yeah.
Whatever floats your boat, that's what we're sending your way and wishes.
Yes. whatever you like. Because I have no strong feelings about it one way or the other personally.
Yeah.
Like my life didn't change. So.
Exactly. And that's the way we should all view things. If it doesn't affect your life, don't worry about it.
Don't take or just don't take this huge stand about it online to grandstand that it's just like if you have an experience, fine, share. Sure. But if you don't, there's other ways to get clout. Then try to jump on the bandwagon of the Queen's news.
I mean, we should try that sometime. Next time some weird news that comes up, well, her death is not weird.
Place ourselves in the middle of
it. Oh
yeah.
I mean, just start, like you said, doing everything that Twitter people do and just start making these outrageous, claims and stands about things. And it has to be something so far removed
no receipts, though.
With none.
My receipts are, trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Trust me, bro.
Exactly. Hey, trust me.
Trust me. Yeah.
And it has to be something so far removed from anything that we should be talking about.
Oh, man. Well, these days, what is that?
But I mean, in all honesty, that's where the ignorance could come in. We're just
we're just the dumb people having our own conversations about what we think we heard through the grapevine. And
but we're gonna put our foot down.
Yes, we are.
So
hold firm.
Anyway,
don't bother me with your facts.
Since you wanted to talk about me for a minute, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you had a stellar week. Yeah, you did.
So first of all, I kind of kept this one under wraps because I didn't know when it was going to come out, but I had finally had a guest spot on Record All Monsters talking about probably one of the most, I don't know if it's the most hated. It's one of the lower tier Godzilla films that people just don't like because it's like, well, Godzilla's not in it that much, and then it's a kid's movie and it's for little babies.
Kid's movie.
Yeah, or whatever. And it's just like, shut up. So I grew up with this movie, Godzilla vs. Megalon. And when Record All Monsters host Robert Kelly reached out and it was like, hey, because we kind of, I don't want to say really officially met, but we crossed paths through Podcasters Assemble when they were doing, essentially that was both our first times doing the podcast. And
was it a Godzilla one?
Right. It was the Kong Godzilla-thon where we're kind of looking through, nitpicking a few Godzilla movies, a few Kong movies to get to Godzilla versus Kong. And everybody, and that was my first foray into that because it was something I was passionate to talk about. Yeah. He was the same way. And when we listened to one another talk about it, we felt like a kinship. It was like, this guy knows Godzilla, and that guy knows Godzilla. They know their monster movies. So he kind of respected my opinion, same as I did his, and then that's kind of how we met. So he kind of reached out and says, hey, you seem to really have a deep knowledge on that. I'd love to have you on the show. Pick your movie as whatever Godzilla film you want to talk about. Now, he reached out. Again, keep that in mind. The Kong Godzilla-thon was at least a year or so ago.
I was going to say maybe one of the first ones I remember you joining in on, maybe?
Yeah. Okay. It was the first. So
okay, yeah.
He reached out way back when, and I picked this movie, and he's been going, well, the way his podcast works is he's been going through all the Godzilla films chronologically. So I picked one later on down the line, and he hadn't got there yet. So he's been going through this along with some other content, getting there,
Sure.
And then he finally got there.
Well, we know what that's like, right? As an independent creator.
No.
You always think you'll be able to do it sooner, and it's like, crap, it's a lot of work. Yeah. All right. Well.
So finally got around to it. We had a good conversation. I think it comes through in the conversation that you could tell there's like an automatic, we understand one another when it comes to this stuff. We love this stuff,
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of drove the conversation a lot. I don't even feel like we talked about the movie all that much. we're reminiscing, talking about, kaiju and growing up with all this stuff and, how much fun it is. How much we love it.
Yeah. So,
there was that. And then over on Horror Ramblings, we got to talk to, if you haven't seen it already, man's name is John Brennan. He does music for Shudder's The Last Drive-In, and that's one of my all-time favorite shows. I don't know if I've mentioned that enough here, but I know I've said it plenty of times over on Horror Ramblings.
And maybe I just know from, talking to you.
Yeah,
life.
Yeah.
I tried for it, and then we ended up buying the wrong thing, so I screwed myself over. Yeah, well, we bought Shudder, but I didn't realize that having it through another streaming service, get the live stuff. So we're kind of stuck for at least a year this way. So I tried, and I didn't do my due diligence. So
it's fine. Yeah,
I can't watch it live. I have to do it later.
So I did what I normally do, take a chance. And I had been looking up John's music because he not only does the music for The Last Drive-In, but he genuinely does music. And I don't know if we ever really
listening.
Yeah, we never really quite, or at least maybe I didn't quite land on an absolute answer as to what his true passion is, because it really feels like it's music, but I feel as though film is also like maybe more of a passion, but music is just where his heart went.
Or both of you. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say, because then we'll be spoiling the episode. People should go listen.
They should.
But
it was
one of those things where it's like it's in the avenue of something you love. You found your niche where you were actually good at it or something, and then you kind of rode that, which is, if you're lucky enough to find it, geez, yeah.
Right. And he's genuinely, if you go listen to one of his albums, I didn't know how I would feel about it initially, because sometimes this is the way I kind of described it. And if he happens to hear this, I hope he understands where I'm coming from, okay? Because I didn't say it there, because I didn't want it to come off insulting. It's not meant to be insulting. But being part of The Last Drive-In, the music that he's making there is kind of riffing or spoofing on the movie that it's related to. So if there was a track or something like that, there's something connected to the movie that was watched that evening. So therefore, there's some sort of content that you're building from. So if it was a Halloween movie and you're building from that, or a Phantasm movie, he's building a song off of that. They even did one on Clint Howard, and that's pretty amazing. But how would his music fare on his own? Like, it's his original stuff.
Right.
And I guess in the back of my head, I'm just like, well, I'm not expecting much. I'll give it a go. Who knows what it'll be? And when I started listening to it, I was blown away, because it's really good.
Nice.
And I was like, holy shit. So when I said, and this is a spoiler to the podcast, but I told him, since I found that album, his latest album, I have been listening to several tracks quite often, because I really, really love them. And that led me to go look up some other albums of his. Some of them are kind of like compilation albums between certain music he's done in the past and some of the Joe Bob tracks that he's written and performed there. And I wanted to hear the his stuff. If you listen to the conversation, he doesn't seem like it's kind of like how I feel with my shorts from 2004. It was I was just starting.
Yeah, I like that he said, he's like, I just leave it all up.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
Why not?
It's just, but why not see the growth?
Right. And that's exactly why I kind of keep my shorts from 2004 in the, out there. I don't want to hide them. I understand. I can look at them and I'm just like,
yeah.
And I cringe.
Have
but
the resources. But
yeah. what else could I do? I was playing with the ideas. Mm-hmm. So same with him, I think. He was just trying to find his footing. But even his songwriting approach seems to be whatever I'm feeling in the moment, which should be every songwriter. Yeah. He's taking. He said, I think the song "Bad Techno" was just observations of being in nightclubs and seeing these personalities, these people in these nightclubs. That's what that song is about. These people, that he sees in these clubs, and it's interesting, So it's a fine approach, and I really highly recommend. That conversation was a blast. Mm-hmm. I hope that we get to stay in contact with him, more often. And
sounded promising. Yeah.
I really, it made me hate it even worse that I didn't get to see him at the Jamboree because, I was wanting to go to that Jamboree in Memphis, and I couldn't make it, couldn't swing it. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is kind of an open door for the next Jamboree. If it happens to be nearby, I can be like, hey, I'll see you at the Jamboree, and we can meet up, and that would be cool.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had two things I wanted to ask you about, and then I'm gonna throw in a few other little recommendations. So I'm trying to figure out which one I want to go to first. I think I'm going to start with this one, and then we'll lead into the other one, because I know we've talked about these briefly, but I want to know your stance on where you are now.
Ooh, okay.
First of all, did you tell me at one point you tried watching Yellow Jackets?
I did watch Yellow Jackets.
So you watched it to completion?
Yes. Well,
okay.
like I said, towards the last half of the season, I fast forwarded, skipped the storylines I no longer had interest in. And so I might have missed some because I was just like, screw it, and would fast forward so-and-so's scene until I got to
whose story was least interesting to you?
Honestly, I only really cared about it when they were on the island. And very little, like Juliette Lewis's character was kind of fun to follow, like in today's time. Well, the only character she played, but the adult version of that character. I would watch through hers. The other woman who's been around forever, I can't remember her real name, with the dark hair.
Main character of the show?
She was one of the main ones. As an adult.
Melanie Linsky?
Maybe.
If she was the one that was the wife.
Who was having all so hers I thought was boring, so I started skipping through hers towards the end, and then until they all got together, and I was like, well, maybe I should listen here, maybe there's story. And then finished off on the island, and then when it ended, I was like, I don't know that I want to come back for more of this.
Okay no, that's fair. I mean,
so I didn't enjoy it all that much, and I was sad because I loved the cast and I wanted to love it, but I thought it was just a really slow burn that was kind of meh overall.
That's fair. No, I mean, it was something that I had heard about, and I remember when they were advertising it, I think when Dexter came back, that started, and I thought about watching it then, but I guess I kind of wanted to let it sit for a minute to see what was going to happen.
Even continue.
Yeah, because you never know. I mean, you see it all the time. One season comes out. I don't want to commit to anything that they're just going to shut down.
Cancel
and even 2 seasons at this point, you don't know. And I hate that. But I finally gave it a watch. And I think I started watching it because I had heard Christina Ricci on an episode of Mark Maron's podcast, and she was talking about it, but they didn't do any spoiler type content when they were discussing it, and just how she was talking about it kind of intrigued me, and I was like, all right, you know what?
I liked her character.
Yeah,
I did watch some of hers.
I wanted to give it a go after hearing that, and I was like, all right, you talked me into it. It sounds like it would be interesting, so I did, checked it out. I enjoyed it. We got sucked into it pretty hard, like binge watched the hell out of it over a course of a few days, and I don't know. I was just like, yeah, I'm in for this. I'd like to see more of it, and I guess the only thing that nags me just a little bit, okay, is this supernatural element that seems to be lingering over it.
Yeah, like that they're hinting towards, or.
And I don't like that. I thought it's more interesting if you kind of pare it back, because you're talking about a tragedy and people trying to survive the tragedy. And then I feel like a supernatural element just...
Yeah, I felt like
takes
I was
something
waiting
away.
for it to flesh itself out. And again, I might have skipped past it, but it sounds like maybe not if you're still having that question as well, because it sounds like you probably watched all of it.
I mean,
whereas I didn't. But
even at the end, you can take it one of two ways. Mm-hmm. But I still feel like that supernatural element's kind of looming over it, and it just feels unnecessary. Mm-hmm. You've got so much strength in just the core idea of this, and you want to...
Unless they were trying to build up to whatever the main idea was for this, the writer, director, whatever, but I don't know.
It never gave you any kind of semblance that supernatural was there from the beginning, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's why it feels like an out for something. Like, well, we don't want to, we're writing ourselves into a corner, or otherwise it's never going to work.
Yeah, I didn't know. Is it human? Was it supernatural?
Yeah.
Human is still totally believable.
Right.
Because of the situation, Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like that's where it needs to remain, is grounded. Because I feel like it just takes something away from the horror of it all. It's like another force. And
or
the
just
way
get to the point so we know what you're after.
Yeah, because even at the end, I guess from a certain perspective, you can see it not being a supernatural element because of certain characters' actions, but there's I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to say
like
too much.
That was the hint, but nothing fully fleshed it out, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but I'd recommend maybe checking it out if anyone's curious. If it doesn't float your boat like Lace, that's fine. If it does,
I kept trying, man, because like I said, I love Juliette Lewis, I love Christina Ricci, like the cast alone. I was just like, well, this should be pretty good, right? And
you know what?
I guess
you actually reminded me something I did want to bring up. I don't know how you felt about this. Again, this is not a knock on Christina Ricci at all. At all. She was fabulous in that. But looking at her character younger, there's another actress I saw in the younger version said, holy shit, that's who needs to be the adult version of this. And that's Natasha Lyonne from...
Oh my God, you're so right.
She looks just like her.
Yeah, or we should have... Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know if she would have played the character the same as Christina Ricci.
She's got a much different style, though.
Yeah,
I don't know how that would have... Maybe. I don't want to knock them. They're actors. Let them act. Let's see what they can do. Never seen her in that style. Maybe I just haven't seen it, to be fair. Right. I've not seen everything she's done, but hers seems to be a little bit more like the dry comedy, sarcastic, like those kind of characters. But, maybe she can. I've just not seen it.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that it had to have been her, but just from
the looks,
appearance alone, holy shit.
Yeah, that they could have been like wouldn't have even needed the wig. I know that sounds horrible to say, but she already has the naturally big curly hair.
Yeah, and frizzy kind of that would have been perfect. Anyway, but
not blonde. But I guess whatever, it's fictional, right?
Yeah. Why not?
I get a bit of redhead. Scarier that way, right? Ooh.
Now, I did check out another show that I said I was going to check out that I know you were telling me about, and that's Little Demon.
Yes.
And
I don't think I've watched the newest one, though, yet. So
I haven't either. So
okay, we'll still be caught up, because I think it just came out Thursday. I don't know what day it comes on. I think it's Thursdays. Friday. Oh, see? I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. It just ends up in my Hulu one day, and I'm like, oh, look, it came on sometime.
Hey, a thing.
Yeah.
No, I've had a lot of fun with it. I've heard that I guess the right is so upset.
Why though? It's what?
Because
get into it. It's hilarious. Turn off your brain. It's not for children. Suck it up and change the channel. Like Jesus okay.
But that's the problem. You're making Satan and the Antichrist, relatable characters, and we can't. They're evil.
Then Christians, don't watch it. I solved your problem.
Yeah,
I solved it. Look how easy that was too. I'm saving you energy, even on energy bills. Your own human energy from turning it on. Look at all of the hardship I just saved you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we said it earlier. Same rules apply.
Same rules apply. It's a good show.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're Christian, don't watch it. You'll hate it. If you're not, you'll probably love it. Or if you like dark humor.
I love dark humor.
I do too.
Mm-hmm. So the hell with it.
I don't care. I know people will be like, ah, and I'm like, dude, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Is it dark? Yeah. Wrong to actually do? Sure. But look at the structure of the joke. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Come on.
I was actually surprised.
I didn't
by
know they were bad, though.
Well, I didn't know that either. I was forwarded a headline saying, why? And I was like, because.
So they're upset at a show called Little Demon talking about Satan.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's the fact that it's.
Imagine like your life, man. That's absorbing rent in your head. Like, I don't know, whatever.
Like you said, all it takes is just changing the channel. Don't even have to put it in your eye holes, man.
Nope.
But some people, it's the same people who like
free
listening.
Will. Remember, free will. God gave it to you.
But anyway, all right, yeah, but no, highly recommended. Check it out. FX, Hulu, yada yada, all that stuff.
It's really good. Danny DeVito plays the devil. How do you not love that already?
Right. And what
his
about
daughter? Is voicing the kid.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, his real life oldest daughter.
There was even a cameo from Arnold Schwarzenegger in the last episode, which I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, when we saw the name, I was like, really? But it was great. I do recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
It's clever. I think it's hilarious. It's definitely not for children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you watch it if you're a parent and you decide it's up to you. It's your kid, but they yeah.
Yeah,
it's adult themes.
For sure.
It's a cartoon, but it's adult themes. So
just because it's a cartoon doesn't mean it can't be for adults.
Right?
People, don't be ignorant.
Right.
Anyway, one last thing I wanted to bring up. I don't know if I've brought this up before. I was trying to remember, so if it sounds familiar, stop me. And just be like,
well, like I'm assuming I remember anything about my past life, but
okay. that's what I'm saying. My memory is starting to just float by. Dave will remind me if I brought this up.
Oh, there's a good source.
See?
Like a steel trap that brain.
So he'll be like, "Hey,
love it.
Don't bring that up again." And I'll be like, "Shh, I won't."
To give him our show notes every week and see, like, did we do this?
So there is a YouTube channel that I've discovered called Jeremy Parrish, and he does Jeremy Parrish.
Oh, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
It sounded like you said Jeremy.
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 I might have said Jeremy. It's Jeremy.
Jeremy Parrish.
Jeremy, but I said Jeremy. That's how we talk down south.
I was gonna say you did so well, and then the accent slips in at the moment you don't expect.
Sometimes it just come up on you. I don't know what happened.
Yep.
So this guy he's going through Nintendo games and Super Nintendo games and Genesis. He's going through all these games and he's doing it chronologically.
Ooh, okay.
And it's kind of like doing what I kind of do here, except kind of condensing like the history of a game into like 5-10 minutes, sometimes longer. Just depends on the game. Because, some games you don't need to talk about Ikari Warriors for 30 goddamn minutes. No one cares. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're talking about a game that's impactful like Castlevania, okay, then you might want to stretch it out a little bit because there's some history there. But no one wants to hear a long, drawn-out essay about Ring King. Okay? 5 minutes is enough. And you see him shitting on these games. I'm doing this. Okay.
Yep.
But no.
Committing.
Point being, it's pretty fascinating. It's kind of a nice trip down memory lane if you haven't seen some of this gameplay in a while. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the very first Nintendo games that I ever had, and I may have mentioned this, and if I didn't mention it recently, since my brain is gone, if you go all the way back to episode 9 of the podcast, I did an episode about this game.
Okay.
And it probably wasn't very good like it would have been today. I mean, remakes. That's what I'm going to do.
Remakes.
I'm
There we go.
Yeah.
We're in a day and age of that. Okay, you know what? I was going to say that could be kind of funny.
It could be. I think it might be.
And
we'll think about it.
This might be only fun for us, but we'll think about it.
If I can embellish it more than it was, I mean, who knows? Anyway, point being, what was the
changes.
Things change. We need ideas, and we're like Hollywood. We can remake and reboot shit.
We got 200 episodes to pull from.
Yeah, I think we can manage it.
We can do it.
By the time we're done with the old ones, we can come back around and start doing the other ones. By the time we get to 400.
No one will be any other wiser because it probably won't even be the same people.
Be like, what? Huh?
This is brand new information.
So, yeah, he kind of talks about the game's developments, maybe some of the behind-the-scenes stuff with the developers and what have you.
Fun.
You know, it's just kind of nice, and it's fun to kind of look back on a lot of this stuff. Again, especially, I was trying to bring up Cobra Command. That's what I was trying to do, and we got lost in the path of, tangents. But yeah, Cobra Command was like one of the very first games that I ever owned for the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo, the original Nintendo. When my parents got it for me for Christmas, me and my brother, and then I got Cobra Command. He got some other damn game. I feel like it was Mickey Mousecapade. Could have been. Anyway, that's what we got. Those were our games along with Mario. So Cobra Command I have kind of a deep connection with. Mm-hmm. And I remember playing that game and not really knowing what to do and I'm honestly sure that the manual probably told me how to play the game.
Oh,
and I just went like, nope.
You never read those? I can remember.
Sometimes. No, I won't say that I never read them, but I'm sure the excitement of just being able to play a game.
Sure.
And
we
my
had
house.
4 buttons. We would have been all right.
Yeah. It was just like, no, I don't have time to read this. I'm just going to go play. Mm-hmm. So I learned how to play that game by playing it. Mm-hmm. And I got frustrated early on because I was like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, what am I not doing? And then eventually I found out the things I needed to do. And when I did, that led to me playing the game better and longer. And, it was a nice way of learning a game.
Yeah.
So one of the first videos I found of his was him talking about that game. That's actually what drew me in. It was like, oh, Cobra Command. Awesome.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
And then from there, I kind of saw how he approached it. Now, luckily for me, his voice is not annoying. Sometimes you get these videos, people wanting to talk about the history of a game, and they're like, hello, I'm going to tell you about the history of Cobra Command. It is a game that was published by Daddy East for Nintendo.
I'm about to take a nap.
Yeah, that kind of stuff right there. Oh my God, I can't do it. I'm like, nope. I need some energy with this.
Just a little.
Gonna talk about it.
I don't need the far end extreme YouTube.
No, and there are those out there too.
We can go in the middle.
Hey, look at me! We're gonna talk about Spider-Man today.
Welcome on in. Hit that like button. Subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, that's absolutely on point. I have seen that video and said, nope, I'm not want to listen to this.
Like, why are you yelling at me? Stop yelling at me.
So I highly recommend his channel. Like I said, it's Jeremy Parrish with Jeremy. You did
it, didn't you?
I did it.
Jeremy. All siblings. What did you hear? Yanni or
Bubala's Jeremy Parrish.
Jeremy Parrish.
Just look his name up. He's such a beautiful boy.
He's just a lovely young man.
You look his name up. You go support that man and his YouTube channel, Jeremy Parrish. Okay.
Okay.
And you'll know exactly his channel because you'll see the NES Wakes and the other Wakes and all that stuff. Okay, so go do that. Go do that. Jeremy Parrish.
And hit the little buttons that he likes. It helps him out. It makes things go better.
Yes. It's only one R in Parish. Okay, it's not 2. I keep writing it as 2. It's 1 R.
1 R. So it's like so just the regular way, not like the fancy way. Okay.
Yeah, not those weird fancy ways like they do up north.
Like, yes, why do they have all those extra letters? It's so useful.
I know it's cold. It's not just but it's not going to help.
It's really not. You just add the more letters. Everyone doesn't understand where to go anymore now.
That's not a one blanket, let me tell you. Anyway, what have you been playing, Bubala?
I have been playing. Actually, this has been a good week for Lace even. I don't know if I should go into too much detail with a lot of them yet. But actually, before I say that, I did want to actually ask you about one other show that you should watch, which I know you never, ever, ever have time for anything new. But The Imperfects on Netflix. Yeah, have you seen it? Been watching it?
I have not watched it, but who's in that? Because I think I have seen the trailer.
I literally don't know any of them. They're all new to Lace's eyeballs. But the show itself, though, the cast they got is amazing, and they dude was doing experiments. I'm trying to do a TLDR, so I'm not spoiling it because doing experiments on humans.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not all of them went so great. And so some of them kind of need him to come back into their lives because things are going a little weird and they need to be fixed. And the oddness of all of the stuff that kind of happens to them and the caricatures that they're playing of themselves throughout, it's so wonderfully lovely. And this is kind of a spoiler, but not. But the reason why I truly love it. Have you ever watched those shows where you just get so upset watching a bunch of kids or something, and they're supposed to be working together, but instead they fabricate all the drama by just arguing and not wanting to talk to each other and being mad and then you just, they don't do that.
Oh, that's
they
wonderful.
go, hey, cool, you were smart. That works out. We should do that. I was wrong. You're right. And I'm like, oh my God. So for that alone, they're not depending on just infighting for their drama. They don't make these kids, well, they're kids to me. They're like young 20s, but they don't make these kids just like fight with each other over dumb stuff because my feelings were hurt, or why was she better at it than I was, or, I like him and you don't. No, it's great. So they work together. There's none of that bullshit. And the story's kind of fun, which means they'll probably can it.
Yeah, probably.
Because I'm starting to like it. It is only one season so far.
Yeah, didn't they already cancel something here in the last week?
I think Resident Evil was canned.
Yeah, I feel like it was something else, though. But it wasn't The Imperfects, or at least not to my knowledge.
I hope not, because we just started getting into it. I know better, though, just like what we were talking about before. I really want to get into newer stuff until I've seen a couple seasons go, because...
That's where I'm kind of at with Rings of Power and the House of Dragons, because everybody's like, you gotta watch this, and I'm just like,
hold on.
I kind of...
Well, the Game of Thrones one probably will. I've watched neither, to be fair. So, I didn't watch I know, I'm a terrible human. I didn't watch the Lord of the Rings movies. I didn't read the books. I know. Everyone can...
That's fine. It's not your bag.
Me, whatever you got to do. So I had, no horse in either of these races to begin with. So the controversies and the knot that's gone on around it, I was just like, I don't know.
I mean, for me, with House of Dragons, it does kind of come, not the drama from Game of Thrones. It's just where we last left Game of Thrones. You're just kind of like...
Isn't this pre...
Yeah, but...
way before.
Think of it like The Stain. You're just like,
you still carry that with you a little bit?
I guess, because when they're talking about it and all the trailers were coming out, I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
My shits for the show were just like, and I don't care.
You had your time with it. It's fine. Yeah. The only complaint that I heard that was valid was, why didn't they go even further back? Because apparently there's such a bigger, more rich history of all of this stuff before even where they decided to go with this new show, that I was like, oh my God, there's so many more amazing other things that had happened beforehand to flesh out. But
then you can't use the characters that people know and make younger versions of them and be like,
can you
look.
Still though? How far previous did it go? I thought it was going hundreds of years. Am I wrong?
Not to my knowledge. I hear there are a character or two that we see who was from... Again, I have not seen it. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So I could be talking out of school. I don't know.
So I could be too.
Sworn that's what I heard, but that all of it's the game of telephone for me.
But
I've not watched any of it. So
but that's what you need, right? you got to have that familiarity. You'd be like, you know that character, don't you?
Yeah. Like, I don't know any of it well enough. You'll see some people quoting the books and this, that, or the other. And I'm like, good for you. Yeah. Like, I can't fight you on that because I don't know.
So, will I watch it at some point? Maybe.
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. No, that's fair. But I recommend The Imperfects when you ever have time. I think that is one you would find fun also. Okay. And just, yeah.
I'll give it a peek.
Love it. But yeah, so what have I been playing this week? Well, a couple of them we'll talk about later. However, we're doing this new structure, if we even have one anymore.
We do.
But nobody cares. But I got all of my 3 stars on 2 Point Campus, so now I'm done. I've beaten all of the campuses. So, GG.
Mm-hmm.
I made all the monies and got all the stars that they required of me. Moved on with my day. And then I was playing just a bunch of little stuff on this Steam Deck this week, too, because I feel like I needed to run out of this room, but I was still kind of in the mood to play video games. So some of the FMVs that I was playing, I was like, I wonder how they play on the deck, because not all of them will say right away, like it'll say not sure, or Valve is still looking into this title about whether this XYZ game will play when it's brand new. Whoa, I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's been storming so hard here. I'm hearing thunder so loud. If it's not coming through, great. But that one kind of scared me a little.
I think I heard something. But I thought it was a car outside, since I hear those more often than not.
It was being quiet, just raining, but now we're starting thunder. Anyway, what was I even saying? Oh, Steam Deck, yes.
Steam Deck.
Playing some of them on there. And so I was very happy to report that the one did play very well on it. The other one I didn't try because I had fully completed it. And I was just like, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't need to come back just yet. Let's put some space in it. So that might be my new thing now when I find fun games that I like, just to go, if they don't even know.
Yeah.
Let's go see on the deck. Does it run? Does it not? And I'll know for myself until it gets officially updated. And then, yeah, I guess I'll just wait. Because the other ones, I was achievement hunting and everything, so I spent a good chunk of time on it, and there's still one I gotta go back for, and I don't know what to do, and I'm trying to not cheat.
Fair enough.
Now I probably could cheat, because people would have written stuff.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Well, let's see.
Or have you had time?
Well, I had a little. I did finish Cult of the Lamb. It was one of those games that I think I wanted to try and... Like you were doing the trophy, like the achievement. I wanted to get the trophies and whatnot. And I don't know. I think I hit a wall with it where I was like, I think I'm done.
Like, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Because some of the 2 that I think I would have had the most trouble with were beating the bosses without dying. Or no, not without dying, but without getting hit.
Ooh,
and
rough.
Somehow I did it with 2 unintentionally. So I was like, all right, well, I've at least pulled that off. So I did attempt it, but it just kept frustrating me because I was trying to hit a strategy where did I have the right weapon? Did I have the right cloak? Just various little details that I thought maybe could give me the advantage to help me out. But I would do so well for a moment, and then I'd just get a little overwhelmed, and I'd make a mistake. So I was just like, I just don't know. And then there were just these other little details, little things to do that probably were easy, but I was just done. You know? I was just like, I don't know what more I can do here.
I'm done. My enjoyment is done now. So you've done what you needed to, and that's fine.
So, but yeah, it was a fun game. Just still riddled with bugs that they need to sort out. Otherwise, it's going to kill that game if they don't get that stuff sorted. Because I had to reset 2 or 3 times the last time. I think that was another thing that kind of made me go like
sitting.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Ouch. Yeah. That's
because
rough.
it would lock up or do something where it just wouldn't continue on, and I was like, well, this is bullshit.
Yeah, that eventually just pulls you out of it. You don't care to keep trying anymore. Yeah, that's hopefully they get that ASAP.
So I feel like that was part of the helping me get done.
I would imagine, yeah.
And as much as I want to go explore some of the games on the PlayStation Plus thing, which, I mean, I got this one from that, but I feel like I want to find little smaller ones to mess around with. But I did go back to Mafia because I did start it. I would like to finish it. And I think I was just having a bad night that night because I think that was the same night I finished Cult of the Lamb. I just rolled back over to that. And the first mission I got back on really pissed me off because it kept doing, like, I was having this issue because I think it was a mission in a parking garage and you had to escape and then you were getting ambushed around every corner and whatnot. First problem I had is we all got stopped and there was this big barricade and they're just like, yeah, get them, stop them, blah, 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 blah. And I was trying to find ways to get around and maybe take out some of the other mob members. Somehow my truck kept getting destroyed as I moved away from it. And I'm going, what is happening? What am I doing wrong?
Do you have to stay in a specific area size?
I don't think that was the problem. I feel like I was missing someone, like someone got around me and started taking down the truck, but I couldn't find them. And it was just, I got so frustrated that I did actually, in fact, get behind the truck and be like, all right, you come to me, goddammit.
See what's happening here.
Yeah, because I don't know what's happening and this truck is not dying today.
Yeah.
So that made me mad. And then the farther down I got, at the bottom, you had to go chase after a truck. Uh-huh. And as that's happening, it's the truck you were trying to protect. Once it gets out on the main road, you got to follow it, and then it gets ambushed by other monsters. When I did that, this is where I was really starting to get frustrated, is you come right out of the gate in this slow-ass car, and they're just like, come on, hurry up. So as the truck is getting ambushed, I'm trying to go, but this car is only doing 30, and I'm just like, floor it,
it's like in real life.
Yeah, I'm like, come on. So they would destroy the truck before I could get to it. And I'm like, what is going on? How am I supposed to catch these idiots if I can't go?
Right.
So you have to drive very, very particularly, to make sure you don't hit anything, you don't slow yourself. You've got to keep that momentum going. So
I would fail.
Yeah,
I'm so bad at keeping the car straight in games.
I didn't do it. Right for the first few times, and I was like, I'm about to quit. I'm just about to say the hell with all video games.
Yeah, I've had it for tonight.
And I finally caught up to him, and then at some point they got away from me, and I don't know how we even won from that point on. I was just like, all right, well, done. Somehow we've succeeded, and I'm just going to take it as a win. Fuck it. Mm-hmm. So,
nice.
Yeah. So hopefully I can continue to play that. I don't know where I'm at in the story, per se, like lengthwise, like am I midway, halfway, or midway and halfway is the same damn thing, don't you know?
I mean,
my brain's not working.
Different dress for the same.
Am I quarter way, halfway, 3/4 of a way? Where am I in the story? I don't know.
I don't know. I actually never played the first one. I played 2 and 3, so I don't remember, or I wouldn't know how long to play. So supposedly.
And see, and those.
Of course, I never really looked at that. To me, like, the value never necessarily was in how long the game was, but I know that's an important point for some people. So
Well, but. I mean, now that you mention that, I think that was it last week, or I think it was this past week over Labor Day. Mm-hmm. So maybe the week. I don't know what days are
prior to today.
Yeah. So there was like Jim Sterling had done a video, or James Stephanie Sterling, pardon me. It still says Jim Sterling on the YouTube
right?
thing.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to disparage. Anyway, they did a story about some headline that stated the link, Cult of the Lamb, ironically enough, was 17 hours and too short of a game and felt ripped off because he didn't get his money's worth, blah, 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 blah.
How much is the game?
Like $20, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. So
bitching and moaning about that. So Sterling started did a breakdown. It's like, what do you consider a value in a game? He's like, I'm not going to say that the length of a game shouldn't be a factor, but it shouldn't be the determining factor. I mean, they used what's that game? 1886, The Order, that came out on PlayStation.
Oh yeah,
it was 4 hours long, but it had these great
but
cinematics.
They wanted like full price for that game.
They did,
right, too. Yeah. I remember the hubbalub.
And that was the game. That was the game that they pointed to as a good example of that being a valid argument. You paid $60, played for 4 hours, but technically didn't, because a lot of it was cinematic. In fact, the one chapter was nothing more than a cinematic.
What?
I swear to God.
The whole chapter was just a cinematic? For how long?
It was quite a while. I wouldn't say like super, super long, but it was.
The whole game's not super, super long, so I guess like 30 minutes. I don't know how many chapters. Holy crap. You do it a whole
chapter.
You didn't even put a hit next to continue to make you feel like you were still doing something.
Nope.
Wow. Did you play it?
Yeah, I did. I paid the $60 for the game.
Oh, no. So you agree on that one, I would imagine.
Yeah. So it felt like an incomplete game that you were just like, that was it?
And it was full release, not early access, nothing, eh?
What they said.
Okay, that is a good example.
So the example, the argument can be made. So yeah, I get what you're saying. The length, it was fascinating to hear, and I mean a lot of great points made. If anyone wants to go watch that, and because it was a lot of valid arguments that I wholeheartedly agree with. You know, there's a lot to be put into the value, replay value. That was another one. But even that, I will attest, is also personal. You know, you can't judge a game's replay value on like one specific type. You know what I mean? Yeah. What you might find replayable, I may not, and vice versa. Like I love, weirdly as it sounds, I've said it before, like the open world games. You know, for replay value in that aspect, my replay value is going to play another one like it. I may not necessarily play the same game, but I gravitate toward those genres. Yeah. So that might be different in a way.
But there are quests you find and things like that maybe you enjoy. I don't know. Yeah.
But on the same token, take a look at any time they re-release a game, like remaster it. Last of Us, I haven't played. Yeah. Or I've yet to play the remaster. Will I?
I don't feel like I need to, but
I don't need to, but I want to, but I'm not actively going to approach it right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've done that. I got other games I want to play.
Right.
I'm kind of crossing.
It looks nice, but is it different in any way? I mean,
know that
they polished mechanics. I'm just saying story and everything. I feel
to my knowledge, the story's still all the same. I think they added or updated the game mechanics to be more reflective of part 2 than 1. So added a few little elements, stuff like that.
Smoother.
Anyway, but again, replay value, it just depends. Because I replayed Spider-Man. Both of them. You know, going through new game plus, hard mode, whatever. I did that because I love Spider-Man. That had a huge replay value for me.
Right.
That may not be the same for you.
Right.
You play it for a little bit and you're like, eh. So that one's a little flexible, I feel like. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's just in the eye of the beholder. Did you have fun? Right. You know, I don't know. If that's a point for you, then sure. Yeah. I mean, you know,
whatever.
But yeah, I mean, if they're wanting $60-$70 and my game was 2, 3, 4 hours long, then and there's no new things to go back and replay, then yes, I would be upset because I feel if it's just a story, that's it, right? For me, in my choose your own adventure ones, like there's replay value in finding the rest of the tree or making the different decisions or that. And so my first playthrough may only be 3 or 4 hours, but after I'm done going through all of the things, I'm 20, 25 sometimes because I don't find things as quick necessarily as other people. Or I try to do it on my own without cheating. So it takes me longer. But yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So so go check that one out then. If you feel that's a.
But I'll check out. What was I talking about? Yeah,
we were talking about Cult of the Lamb and how long it was.
Yeah, because we got off.
Sterling's review on the length of it.
But it all started talking about Mafia, and then we got way off track.
Yes.
God damn it.
Yes.
So I've been playing Mafia.
You've been playing Mafia and got killed because of the truck.
Yeah, but hopefully I'll continue. Like, I got past that other, I don't know where I'm at. That's where I was trying to go to. And then that's it. Doesn't matter. I'll play the game until completion. Will I trophy hunt? I doubt it. Because I think there were some things in there that I was just like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter unless you're seeing something completely new, or at least in my case. Yeah.
Okay, so I know we don't really do a lot of news, but I had 3 little things I wanted to talk about that were in the news. Do you have any? Do you have any
I
news
always
bits?
bookmark things just in case, because I was like, just because we're not reporting on it doesn't mean it may not be interesting to me, and then I just want to have a chat about it with Steven.
Mm-hmm.
No, the only other thing I saw that I'm kind of I needed to re-download it, started again. We got some Edge Runner campaigns for Cyberpunk, so we got some new stuff to do in there, and they announced the Phantom Liberty, the DLC should be coming in 2023. So, I mean, it looks like they're actively still working on it and everything. So I liked it.
Did they actively fix it?
A lot of it has been addressed, and so much so that, hold on, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. Which game was it? You know, I don't think it was Cyberpunk now that I'm thinking about it, because there was one that I remembered briefly reading that they were giving refunds because they weren't actually going to do the old generation of the DLC like it was originally planned when it first came out. So they were going to issue people refunds that paid for like a season pass. Oof, I should have bookmarked it.
I don't know.
I don't think it was Cyberpunk. I think they gave enough refunds, but
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I need to re-download that and give it a look-see, because I did like it. Yes, there was issues. Yes, there was bugs. I played on PC, so again, I didn't get it nearly as bad as people who tried to play it on console. Like, I was able to get through it, and the bugs made me laugh. Shouldn't have happened, sure, but like, I could still play. Like the T-posing and everything. It was just like, dear God, like, come on. And they're naked. That's what I always thought was funny. It's like they would T-pose off of their bike or their car naked. I'm like, you have clothes on in the car. Just FYI.
Yeah.
But I don't know how those bugs happen. Like what it decides to take off. But yeah, no, go ahead. I don't think I had anything really big.
The only things that I saw of note, I found this one to be one interesting and one bizarre.
Ooh.
I'm trying to. Well, all right. Let's talk about the interesting one first. There, D23 is going on, I guess, right now, or has been, or was going on over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And that's where Disney whips out, all their things and be like, "Hey, look at what we got! Look what we got! Look what we got!"
Oh yeah, they've been announcing a lot of like live action stuff lately. Dear Lord, I didn't know we were asking for that, but somebody is, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it was Thursday they started off, and it was just like, here's all the Disney Day or Disney Plus Day stuff, and then there's like, here's a bunch of movies for you to watch, here's a bunch of specials, look at all the things that we do, and we're like, yay, cool. And then trailers for, new things coming to Disney Plus. Like, yeah, I don't want to get into them.
I did watch Thor: Love and Thunder.
Did you like it?
I thought it was cute. I hated the end. I'll just say that. I thought the end was dumb. You had me, but it was just such a stupid, silly romp. How could you hate it? Like, it's not something I want to see again. I've done my time. Like, it wasn't that interesting. But I had fun just for a one-time through, and I think they fumbled the ending, in my humble opinion.
Okay.
I would have liked to have seen the opposite of what happened for it to be more fun for me. It would have just made more sense. It made it seem the ending more cruel, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, no.
But I didn't know Christian Bale was in it, so that was fun.
Mm-hmm. And he did a phenomenal job.
When he was in the beginning, I was like, that's got to be him. You can't hide those teeth and that smile. You know what I mean? Like, he's just got to... But yeah, I thought it was fun for a one-time through. Did you hate it?
No, I loved it. I've heard way too many people hating on it than...
Oh, no. Natalie Portman's like... one of those on my laminated list, if you know what I mean. So like, I like what she does. I like all of the stuff.
Okay.
She's just amazing, good all around. She can speak like 7 languages fluently, dude. She's like smart as hell and talented as hell and hot as hell. How do you not like all that?
She's a triple threat.
Seriously, probably more than that, quadruple. Add it on. Anyway, your point. You like it?
No. I liked it, and I just. People who are, I don't know what they want, you know. I literally heard this argument.
But you get to see his butt. Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Everybody loved that. You can't tell me no one, come on.
I had like 3 seconds of fun at least.
Like, anyway. What was I saying? What was my point?
You were talking about D23 and the
I
stuff that was getting announced.
But I felt like I had another point
Thor.
to that. Talking about Thor. I did.
Didn't know why people didn't.
Oh, no. I heard this stupid argument.
Okay.
Thor 2,
Uh-huh.
I think it's The Dark World. Just Thor,
The one
The
like
Dark World.
everyone forgets about.
Right. Okay.
Because even I did.
The one everyone forgets about, and someone says, hey, bring back the director of Thor, The Dark World, and put this, back on track. I'm like, well, no, wait a minute. You're going to say that this movie is, whatever.
The one nobody remembers.
I think it's a matter of personal taste and preference. I have said from the jump, Taika Waititi is not everyone's cup of tea.
No, I like him though.
I love him. I think, give me more Taika Waititi. I'm all for it.
It's like there's just the right amount of silliness, I think, for me. To each their own though.
Like, I'm so glad that he was kind of attached to that show Reservation Dogs on FX because his name is what drew me to that project. And I know that he's probably not 100% responsible for
nobody is.
Everything in there. I'm sure it more really goes to Sterling Harjo, I think is the other co-creator.
And probably just whatever the producers think will sell.
Yeah.
Or whoever the big suits are that get to go, no, with my money, and yes, with my money.
But his name alone is what drew me to that project, and I love that show. Highly recommend that show.
It is a good show. I haven't finished it. It was one of those that I keep like watching one or two, and then something else comes out, and we binge that, and then I go back through things, and I'm like, oh yeah, why didn't we? So, but yeah, I like it.
So anyway, yeah. All right, so let's get back on track because I went down another fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So during all this Disney hubbub, they did game announcements one day, and it was just like, look at all these Mickey Mouse games and stuff that we put out.
I saw one on Game Pass.
Like one was a Mickey Mouse Mario Kart racer.
Oh, okay.
If you wanted to call it that, that's what it looked like to me. Like, I didn't even really watch the trailer, and I got all I needed to see out of it. It was like, oh, okay, so we're Mario Karting now. Cool.
Yeah. This one on Game Pass is called Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
This was the first I had heard of it, was when it came on the Game Pass front page as new, and I was like, what?
What?
What is it?
But during all this...
It's my fault. We keep getting...
No, it's fine. So after they finally announced, or they started announcing Marvel games. They talked more about that Midnight Suns game that I have zero interest in. I really wanted to play that, and then they said card game, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
But Skydance, the company Amy Hennig is a part of, they announced that they had a game coming out featuring Captain America and Black Panther. Taking place during World War II, so it would be T'Challa's grandfather, Black Panther. So we're getting like a new Black Panther and Captain America.
Okay.
So, and it looks to be a cinematic type game.
Sure.
I'm hoping a fun, unique play style. I don't know. We didn't get to see gameplay.
Sure, probably won't either.
The one thing that got me excited, I mean, granted, she has pedigree behind her name and all the, the work she's done. But what really excited me is the writer of the game, or I'm sure co-writer, probably head writer, Mark Bernardin, who does a podcast with Kevin Smith, Fat Man Beyond.
Oh, yeah.
When I first, learned of Mark through Fat Man Beyond, or Fat Man on Batman, depending on how far back you want to go.
Right.
And when I would listen to, like, when he first started critiquing movies, like, you'd come on board and then you'd hear Kevin just like gush and gush and gush. Oh my God, this movie is so great. And then Mark would come around and be like, yeah, but here's this problem and here's that problem and here's this problem. at first it kind of bothered me, you know?
Right.
Because I was like, what?
Why are
like,
you just falling in love with it like the rest of us?
Yeah, I like this thing. Why are you tearing it apart? But then I started to listen to what he was saying, and I was like, you know, these are really good points.
Yeah.
So I've gotten into this mindset when I hear him tear apart a movie. I don't see it as him being hateful to it, like my initial reaction was. It's him saying, here are the problems that, and what could make it better. You know, he wants to see a better version of it. He doesn't want to hate it. He doesn't want to, you know, piss on it or whatever. He wants to love this thing, but sometimes the filmmakers make it difficult.
Right. And I think I have the opposite problem where I'm willing to turn off and forgive way too much because it matters not as much to me.
Yeah. And sometimes, depending on the movie, I can kind of do the same thing and just be like, yeah, no, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't know why we watched this movie.
Oh.
Should I keep going? Yes, I'm excited for Captain America, Black Panther, Skydance, Amy Hennig, Mark Bernardin, pedigrees all around. I expect awesomeness. I watched Morbius.
You promised you wouldn't.
Katrina talked me into it.
Did she though?
Yeah.
Did you morb? Did you morb all over?
I did start the movie by chanting, "It's Morbin time."
Well, you have to now.
Yeah, and I don't know what that was.
Worse than you thought, as bad as you thought, or actually, you know what? It'll leave you a little better.
Well, the fact that people were already trashing it, my expectations were already very, very low. Mm-hmm. And then watching it, I know I checked out several times going, I don't care about any of this. Yeah. I don't give a damn. But I would kind of get upset, like when I realized he worked at Horizon Labs, and I was kind of hoping that Peter would get to go to Horizon Labs and work like he did in the comics. And now that could be a problem because we introduced that shit in Morbius.
And now it's gone. Lost to Morbius forever.
And then
don't worry, I'm sure you'll get a sequel.
Oh my God. The end credit scene. I'm spoiling the shit out of this if you don't want to hear it tough.
Okay, like I didn't.
So the end credit scene is...
I feel like everyone's seen it now on Twitter for free in 2-minute increments.
Yeah. End credit scene, out of the blue. Suddenly the sky rips open. Like we saw in Spider-Man No Way Home. And we're like, oh, huh. And then... somehow, Michael Keaton's character, Adrian Toomes, from Spider-Man Homecoming, just magically appears in a prison cell. And they turned it into, somehow, this guy, Adrian Toomes, he's being released because a lot of what you're hearing from the news, you're just like, huh? Something's just not adding up. It's like, how is this a fucking news story? Yeah. What are you talking about? It's something you can already tell something's off just from the news.
Yeah.
So then they released this guy who just showed up in a prison who shouldn't have had any kind of record, who shouldn't have even been nothing. You know what I mean? There's already something wrong. He doesn't exist, and yet somehow he seems to exist in this world.
Well, as long as you don't break your own rules, I'll lean in. But if
No. Hang on. No, they took those rules and smashed them because not only that, so he gets away or he gets released or what have you, not from this world. Then they go back to the credits, but then they interrupt again. So it was not just one, but two mid-credit scenes within the credits just to be like, oh, look at what we did. We're keeping you roped in. So then we cut to Michael Morbius standing out in the middle of a field. Just looking around, and then suddenly the Vulture drops by with an entire suit that looked just like the one he had in his universe, the one he didn't fucking have here because it didn't exist. So where the fuck do you get this tech? How are you the Vulture here already? What?
Maybe that's gonna explain in Morbius too.
But here was their explanation here. He shows up.
Oh,
and
they did explain it. Okay.
No, they didn't explain shit because he shows up, and then obviously the face is hidden because they didn't want to. I guess Michael Keaton was just like, I did one day, I'm good. You just I'll record
like
this shit.
I'm wrapped, right? I'm wrapped.
And it's like they just gave him like, just say this and this because we'll figure it out later. Just say this very basic shit, and he's just like, hey Doc, don't know how I got here. Had something to do with Spider-Man or something. Anyway, I'm trying to learn myself around here, and I thought maybe we could form a team. Why? Who are you? Right. To him. He doesn't know you. Why am I supposed
to care? Yeah.
Why am I supposed to team up with you?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
I never watched it, so I don't know.
God,
and it doesn't sound like I'd be able to help if I did.
And he even referenced himself as Venom.
Oh, really?
Twice. And
I'm sorry. Why did you do it to yourself? You knew.
I was hoping.
Promised yourself you weren't gonna.
I was hoping I could just turn my brain off, and somewhere along the way, my brain was like, "Please stop."
It turned it all the way off, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was like, I would rather you go drink a full gallon of whiskey. Just please stop.
Please stop. Cauterize the wound, please. Can we just move on?
So yeah, new game from them, and I guess Ubisoft thought that they were something special because they decided to do some special thing during all this Disney droppery.
I did see there was like a forward going on. Yeah.
And then all it was Assassin's Creed. I swear to God, there were so many Assassin's Creed games announced. And that's all it was. It was just like... Is that
all Ubisoft does now is Assassin's Creed and Just Dance?
What it looked like.
Because I know those still come out once a year, I think.
Because they had one big cinematic trailer for some new... I guess this is going to be their new game. I can't remember the name of it. Don't really care.
It wasn't Assassin's Creed?
No, it was Assassin's Creed, but the new... Whatever the next
Assassin's
chapter...
Creed. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Assassin's Creed.
New dude.
New guy. Yeah, there we go. But then there was these other little trailers because you saw all these different Assassin's Creed names. And it's like, well, what is this? What is this? So it would be a setting. Then you see a cinematic shot of the assassin. And then it would just show Assassin's Creed Red. And then cut to the other one. Same fucking thing, just different setup. Just Assassin's Creed Jade. And then the last one, I think, was like you just see shots going down into a tree. We're following a line, and then this thing turns over, and it's the symbol Assassin's Creed Hex.
Are we sure they weren't just trolling us this whole
But that's all it was, just like this, 10, 15 second cinematic, and then title. So what's the game? I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be about the same as we're used to. Just a new setting, new person being the assassin.
But I mean, with all these other games, you can't tell me they're all going to be the same type of Assassin's Creed game. I feel like they're trolling us with mobile versions or those 2D side-scroller versions, something like that. Nonsense, I say.
Like a tower defense Assassin's Creed game.
They would do it too.
Yeah, all the Ezio's keep coming until you...
that's the other thing too. That's the other thing too. I'm calling that Ubisoft. You need to clean house with your PR team because
they've been needing to clean their whole house out for several years now.
I know. But what I'm referencing is somebody did not spell check.
Oh God, what did they do?
A Ubisoft original.
Okay.
See the problem?
3 should be.
A Ubisoft. A Ubisoft.
Ubisoft?
No.
I don't get it.
An Ubisoft original. Damn it. You use an before words that start with a vowel sound.
Thinking, how did they put all those letters together to make a word? I wasn't even thinking about. I was thinking it in a different
grammar. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Grammar.
I was like, did they put that all together as one word? For some reason, that's where my brain went. And Ubisoft original, yes.
And Ubisoft original, not a Ubisoft original. You know what? I actually argued with my daughter Jade's teacher, my oldest daughter. She was in school.
Teacher.
Yeah, no,
I'm sure
because
she loved that too.
if she's going to sit there and teach my kid, by God, she better teach her right. Because what happened is she marked something wrong on my daughter's paper. And while it was correct that it was wrong, correct that the teacher was right to mark it wrong. The
teacher was right in marking it wrong.
Her explanation was what bothered me. Because I was like, okay, if that's what you're teaching her, this is exactly why she got it wrong.
That's the incorrect rule.
I think it was it's all about the sound. Like we're taught, or at least this is what she was teaching her. It's like, hey, words that begin with a vowel get the and then everything gets an A. And the word was hour, like an hour a day.
HOUR.
Yeah. And my daughter wrote A. But her explanation was, no, remember, they start with yada yada, what have you. And I was like, but this starts with an H. You need to explain to them it's about the sound, the vowel sound, not the letter itself. You say an hour.
Yeah,
you don't say 8 hour.
Give the correct rule as to why it is. Yeah.
So that's why she got it wrong, is because you explained it wrong.
Right.
So this is what she said.
So your daughter got it correct towards the rules she was first told.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So if you're going to sit there and correct her right.
Yeah,
help her understand.
Of course, English is dumb that way. I understand why people have a hard time if it isn't their first language. Yeah.
Like my wife, I don't know if she was high or something, but she literally seemed surprised that the word pterodactyl had a P at the beginning last night. She was like, P?
And I knew that, but why? No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the way pterodactyl spelled.
Yeah, it just is. Like a knight in shining armor.
So yeah, more Assassin's Creed. Screw that. And finally, this is not really newsworthy, but I just thought it was fun because I know this is just either he knows something or he's just stirring up a pot. And with this man, I don't really know. Ed Boon, creator of Mortal Kombat, was apparently polling fans on Twitter asking if they wanted to see a Marvel versus DC video game. Now, of course we do.
Yeah.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
But if you're not making it, don't tease us.
Don't do that to the people. Yeah.
Because shit. Yes. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that I would take this game as a Lego game, okay? Because I know that people over at TT Games have the license to use both because they have their Lego games. You got the Lego Marvel games, you got the Lego DC. You could do a Lego Marvel in DC. Shit, I'd play that. Wouldn't hesitate for a second.
All achievements.
Yeah.
On lockdown.
Because I don't give a damn if they're Lego. So you're telling me that I've got Spider-Man over here and Superman over there. Sold. But yes, I know what game he's talking about. Something Injustice-y, I'm sure. Yes, I want to see that. I want to play that. But if you're not making it, don't bring it up.
Could be.
Just don't bring it up. Don't tease me.
That's fair.
That's all I'm saying. Okay? Can't even find the comic books anymore.
What?
Like, you know how bad... Because I used to collect this shit all the time as a kid when they were doing all these company crossovers in the 90s. Yeah. Oh, man. I was every one of them I saw. I was like, because I'll never see this again. And you haven't. But where was I going with this?
Ed
I don't remember.
Teasing you about you said you
Oh, yeah, where you can't find it. No, JLA and the Avengers.
Comic.
Yeah, JLA Avengers, which was like a passion project for the late George Perez. And I wanted to read that so bad. And I have looked so hard, and to only find outrageously priced copies, I just, even if I could read it in a digital form, it's not the same, but at least I could read it.
Right.
It would be nice, but I can't. I can't find it anywhere, and it disappoints me because I really, really wanted to read that.
Yeah.
But you cannot find it anywhere. So, don't tease me. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. So, hey, since we've really went
way over.
today.
Went way over. Yeah.
So what did you want to talk about today? What was the theme?
We'll bring it down. I actually I played 2 really awesome FMVs. It was a really great week for me. Well, 2 weeks, I guess, because one I got to play for a little bit, but couldn't talk about it until September 8th when it dropped for all of the humans to go peruse. So briefly, if you really want to hear my deep thoughts on The Gallery, which was one of the newest FMVs from Paul Rashid and Aviary Films, you can also go over to the Geek to Geek website and read a full review that that they invited me back to do about it. So either I'm doing okay or they just really hate all those games. I don't know. I'm kidding. Don't get mad at me. But The Gallery, newest one from Paul Rashid, if you're an FMV fan, I have to recommend. It was just such an interesting way to tell a story that I hadn't seen done in this medium before. And I played his other games. His writing style is great, and it's just fun and how it goes in. So, like, you get to play 2 timelines, same story, but in 1981, you're playing as the art curator as a female protagonist during the UK riots. It's over in Britain. So very specific periods of Britain's history. But then in 2021, we're playing the art curator as the male protagonist, with Brexit and the pandemic going on and everything. We lived through that one. So we're probably all kind of caught up on what happened then. You may not have been around in 81, but this one you did. And it was just the split style in which they told the story, and writing any character that could have worked for any gender identity and playing with that idea was super fun, because it was almost identical stories, almost identical dialogue in a lot of cases, but the way it would be flipped to make sense for each time period, I just thought was very clever. And getting to see both of the actors play each other's character, if you will, to each other back and forth was super interesting to watch, because they just had to have a lot of fun with this one, because they were basically playing the same character, just flipped, depending on the timeline. And then some of the cast of characters might have changed, but the people might have been the same. It was just a very interesting way to go back and forth so I could catch the similarities and the differences in the way the story was told from each other to kind of get to the same endpoint. I don't know. If you like FMVs and a really good story, heck, I might even say, even if you don't really play these, you might just enjoy the story itself and just how it was written to go back and forth. It was just a nice, refreshing new story to see, and they always seem to get a really talented cast on his. So obviously, I'm horrible with names. I probably should have written it down. I think it's Anna. Oh my God, don't hate me. Hold on, let me look at IMDb. I wrote down everything else but their names. I'm an asshole. But she was on Chronicles of Narnia. Anna Popplewell. That sounds right. Hold on. The Gallery. I know it's on here. Everything's on IMDb now because of this. I was right. Anna Popplewell. And then George Blagden, which I kind of vaguely remember from Vikings. And, had some other stuff. But yeah, it was just great. It was just a great cast of characters, a really fun, interesting way to play the story. The mechanics are the same. You get prompted on screen. You choose between them all. So there was nothing really deviating from there. But yeah. I just think it's a really cool story. I think it's a really cool way to tell the story. But since I had already done such a huge deep dive into that sort of, on my review on Geek to Geek, I'm just going to tell you all to go over there and finish reading my thoughts on the rest of it. I do have to ask you a question. This will be a little off topic, but not kind of really. Do you find when you're writing reviews, if you absolutely love the game, that you just have to find something bad about it so they don't think you're just a shill for the people who gave you a code?
Kind of. A little bit.
Yeah. I felt like I had to.
Yeah. I mean,
like
I understand.
every time I'm writing these, it's always just I get so lucky that it's like ones I like.
Yeah.
But then I don't want people, oh, well, she's just a shill for so-and-so or whatever. Because, like, even the things that I found wrong with it, I personally don't even care.
Yeah.
But I know it could be a point for some people. So
Exactly.
it's like, I
No,
guess
I get
I'll
it.
add it in, But, man, yeah, okay. I was just wondering because people who probably write a wide variety of reviews who not necessarily would like the game might have a different time. But, every time I love it, I always feel like I have to go back and scour. There's got to be something, right?
Yeah.
My brain doesn't work that way.
Kind of like, I know we haven't played it yet, and I did want to kind of bring it up ever so briefly, but Saints Row being broken, something tells me that if I had gotten the game, I feel like despite the flaws that it's just kind of what I've heard, a mediocre rehash with a lot of bugs, that I'd still like it. And I would find joy in it for some reason or another. So I wouldn't want my review to come off like you said, like a shill overlooking the problems. I feel like I feel like I would be cognizant to say, no, it's broken. It's awful.
Right,
and
when
if
it's
I got
coming to
bored,
stuff like that,
Yeah.
But I mean, and FMVs is such a weird thing too, because like continuity shots are always an issue, and I feel like that's just a downfall of the genre itself, and just like how much shooting one can reasonably do with whatever time, money, resources that they have. Right? Sometimes it would be impossible to film that same thing 7 different ways to come up with the same thing. In my head, Anyway, just that was kind of off track. But really, all in all, I really freaking adored the story. It was a lot of fun. And yes, I'm still on the hunt for 2 more achievements. I can't figure, I'm just like, why am I not connecting those dots? I'm sure one of them is just unlocking all of the scenes, maybe. Yeah. So once I've unlocked everything, it'll probably be one of those. I'm assuming it's hidden.
Maybe.
And I haven't searched yet to cheat. What the names of those hidden achievements are. So I'm assuming one of them has to just be unlocking all the endings and maybe all the scenes. So maybe I just have to continue doing that until I have, and then it'll have popped. I don't know.
Who knows?
But the one I really wanted to kind of get into here was Immortality, which is Sam Barlow's newest FMV. And you all have heard me talk about Sam Barlow's FMVs here before. We have talked about Her Story, which was one of the first newer FMVs I had seen over the last 5 or 6 years when we started seeing this resurgence come back. That was just such a great high quality that was starting to get me excited. I was like, oh, are they coming back in a good way? Because I want to say it was 2015 or something when Her Story came out. And then I know we've talked about Telling Lies, because that was the one, I guess, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And then now the newest one, Immortality, that just came out on August 30th. And there's just something about him finding, or whoever does the programming for his games or whatever, finding just a unique enough way to play the same type of game to keep them interesting. Because in Her Story, I want to say it was the first time I had ever played an FMV or kind of game of that nature where I was actually having to type in keywords and search for all of this stuff on my own. It wasn't showing me the story and me choosing answers here or there. I was the one actively searching through this computer database and putting together footage. We've seen some of it similarly since then. And then in Telling Lies was kind of the same thing, where you had to search through this database, collect the keywords, type it in to hopefully bring forth all of the new videos so you can get a good idea of the story. It's always disjointed because you're never going to get anything in order. That's just kind of his style. It's never going to be in order. You're probably going to say WTF a lot because the way it comes at you. But this one right here, I said WTF probably every 20 minutes. And I'm going to try to do this without any spoilers, which is going to be kind of hard because the story itself is so bizarre and so out there and kind of nutso that once you finally, I think, get all of the videos to put it all together and it makes sense, it's one of his most interesting yet. Because firstly, we're following the story of what happened to Marissa Marcel, famous actress made 3 full feature films, but for some reason, none of them ever released. And where is she? Just disappeared, was on this great path, just going on all these talk shows, becoming famous, and then just gone. But these movies never came out. So kind of the hook of it is you're going through old archived footage from the filming of these 3 films and trying to put together what happened to her in the end. Now, it is kind of a point and click style game, but I don't see if I can explain this. You'll get your first scene. Then, and the mechanics at the bottom, you can either use your keyboard. I've heard some people say a controller was actually better for this game because of some of the haptic feedback you'll get for hints and stuff on how to move forward. Mm-hmm. I 100% recommend a headset. Okay. Because there will be audio cues that I will tell you I did not hear through speakers. Once I finally put my headset on, and that could just be my hearing, because I know I'm half deaf in my right ear, but you need those cues, or you're going to be just sitting there clicking and getting super frustrated. I'm just going to say, because like it'll eventually feel like, am I just going to click forever until I know? But the mechanics, if you're playing a scene, you found a video, you can pause it at any time and use this eyeball to look on the screen and click something, an object, someone's face, whatever. And it'll take you to a new scene that may have that same person's face, object, or whatever it is that you clicked on to try to get more and more videos that way. Now, that's also going to take you all over the place, right? Because if you just constantly click on Marissa's face, holy crap, right? Like, that's just going to take forever because she's pretty much in everything, every video that you watch. And you're going through 3 different movies, mind you, starting in 1968, ending in 1999. Why the heck would this same actress still be performing at such a youthful appearance over that span of time? So, without spoiling too much, scrubbing the videos, just be sure you're listening to that audio and remembering to go forward, fast forward, and also rewind, because you may uncover something you had no freaking clue was even there unless you're playing with those buttons. And I will tell you, I will admit, I went for about 2 hours before I realized this other mechanic. Like, they tell me about it in the beginning too, so I feel like I was just being stupid, because in that very first scene they give you, which is like your tutorial, it's 100%, I think, telling you right there. And, oh, I wish I could say. God, because there's so much stuff in there that you're just not even going to realize you had to look for. Right. And that, like, it just blew my mind at how much more I could uncover if you just had patience to be going through maybe even the same section more than once. And then you're going to say, what the F to yourself again, because you're like, you'll see this new thing. I'm like, how does that even connect? What the hell are you doing to me, Mr. Barlow? I don't understand what that has to do with anything that you've told me so far. And the story, once you put it together, I actually found all the videos. First time ever in my life, Sam Barlow completing 100% is the stuff of legend. Let me just say, all of us get together, at least in my circles, and go, really? Has anyone ever been able to figure out how to do 100% it without going into the game files and cheating?
Right.
I haven't. I'll be honest with you. Telling lies, that's exactly what I did. I had 2 scenes left I couldn't find. I'm typing in all these words. I got pissed. So I opened up the game files and watched the scene that I was missing so I could type in what he said so I could find the damn thing so I could get all the achievements. Yes, I cheated. I'm sorry. I tried so hard to do it on my own. You tried. I anticipated me having to do that here, like just aimlessly click for 10 years or something until I found it. You know, I was like, this is just, there's candles everywhere, you know, there's her face and everything. There's like, how am I gonna? But you're not going to get it, I think, unless you've at least uncovered what I'm going to just call secret scenes as you're scrubbing through all of this kind of stuff. And the cast, holy shirt balls, were they amazing. Like, I was really blown away because especially the woman who played Marissa had to be a blast because she basically shot 3 different movies and as playing herself in the movie, because you're watching this footage raw. So you'll hear the actor saying, or the director saying action. You'll see some of their maybe little conversations they're having with the script or whatever before the scene actually starts, you know, and all of those can be different clues if you're listening for it. And then knowing how to adjust your speeds back and forth to maybe tap into that extra stuff that's happening behind the scenes, the supernatural element that starts to maybe you think is what's going on. Is that? I don't know. But I was most impressed with the cast in this one by far. Just her getting to play those 3 different movies and in 3 different styles. Way different styles from each other. Because Ambrosio, their first film, all right, was like set way back in the day, you know, back when the monks were telling the story of Jesus across the earth and, you know, very different style. And then you come to Minsky, it's like a 70s crime thriller, you know, so you get to play that character. And then there's another one that they, 2 of Everything, where she's playing like a twin, like her own twin. I guess we'll just say that for spoiler reasons, her own twin in the movie. And very modern, you know, well, for 90s at the time, you know, so very modern, very, you know, way different from the 60s. And then also getting to play, you know, her as her and her as maybe other things. You just have to click through and see. So I can't recommend it enough if you're a fan of FMVs because of just how much more unique they actually made the play style. It's not just point and click. I'm not just hunting through. They made you have to actively scrub through it all. It might feel like a chore to you after a while. I won't lie. You'll want to put it down for a minute if you're wanting to find it legitimately, right? Like, if you just want to look it up, then fine. But legitimately, yeah, I could take a minute because you're going to have all of these scenes now that you have collected that you're trying to make sense of. And you'll be like, I'm missing scenes because some of the achievements would be collect all of the Minsky footage, collect all of the Ambrosio footage. And it wouldn't pop. So you're like, well, I can just keep trying to look through each scene and go, what thing should I click on? Just click aimlessly. Maybe you will just end up clicking on her face over and over and over again and giving up. And then hopefully that'll work, you know, whatever that may be. But Mr. Barlow, very smart, encrypted those game files this time. So if you wanted to cheat, you have to know how to unencrypt them, which I do not know. So yes, I did peek. I was like, I'm missing 2. So let's see. And when I saw like none of the videos, I'm like, you little minx. Well done. Well played. He knows. He knows it's stuff of legend to try to 100% his game.
Yeah. He's like, oh, all right.
I'm sure people already spread them online and unencrypted them. So I was just like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. This one might be a little bit easier than the other ones where I legitimately have to type a word and hope they said it in the video, right? This one, I can just keep clicking on things and everything. And you will, I guess, eventually do it just by accident. But secret scenes, I'm just going to tell you, well, I call them secret scenes. I don't know if they're actually a secret or whatever, you know, like it's just part of the game. Just listen. Just listen, because I missed so much by not really thinking about that mechanic as much in the beginning. And then when I went back for some of it and realized how much early on I would have known, way early on, it was crazy to me. So I have to give him props for the story on this one. It is bizarre, it is weird, but it was wonderfully presented, and the actors went for it, nailed it, loved it. Like, I have no complaints on that end. Cinematography is also awesome, especially getting to see the 3 different styles each time, you know. I have read that there was a couple of achievements that were bugged, so keep that in mind. I don't know how you would know unless somebody's already written a guide. Like, personally, I don't know if I would have known it was bugged. It just pops up for me, you know, like when it happens. I don't read through what all the list of achievements are before I start a game. Let's put it that way. My first couple playthroughs, whatever it pops up, I'm like, oh, hey, I did a thing, right? Yeah. That's how it just so happened.
Forget about it.
Yeah. hey, I got an achievement. Cool. And that's usually how I play most of my games. So yeah, I'm a 100% go pick it up. It's not, please, because I want to get more Sam Barlow FMVs. They're just so wonderfully bizarre and weird and well presented that, yeah, I just want him to keep going. I want him to keep creating more things. I will say though, 100% adult game, very adult. I only say this in case we have streamers. I don't know how Twitch and YouTube and all of them might fare with this. I kind of looked on Twitch and it didn't, I saw quite a bit of VOD saved, so I'm thinking it's probably fine, but there's a lot of nudity, a lot of simulated sex scenes that are pretty up close and graphic. So I just fear for streamers that, like, if they just see that playing in a thumbnail, I could easily see you getting banned by accident for showing porn because it's pretty graphic. They go for it. They simulate. You know what I mean? So I'm just putting that out there. If you're a streamer that loves doing these, I was a streamer who loved doing these. I wouldn't have done it. But I'm also a chick that was online who every time a 12-year-old sees a nipple, you got to babysit them for like 20 minutes to calm down, you know? So I don't have the fortitude to want to be like, it's just a nipple. It's just a this, you know? So if you're a streamer and you don't like showing that stuff on stream, just keep that in mind. There's a lot. There's a lot. A lot, so much so that I was like, my husband's going to think I'm probably watching porn. But it's fine. Because I was like, anytime he'd walk by, it's funny if you have to scrub that footage. Because it's on the screen a while, and you're slow-moing it forward. You're slow-moing it backwards. I actually used nipples as a hint. So there you go. There's a hint for you guys. If you can't find any more videos, just keep clicking on their boobs so you can see all the scenes boobs are in. And it'll unlock for you. And it worked. That's what was hilarious to me. It zoomed in on her nipple, brought me to another person's nipple. I'm like, I'm going to follow this thread as long as it takes me. So you have a section in there where it shows you how many pictures you could have taken as well. So when you're zooming in on the thing that you clicked on, that's considered taking a picture and putting it in a different one. So if I wanted to, I could just go through the pictures and then maybe click on those and see if I clicked on a water picture here. Maybe I didn't click all the water pictures. So that's also useful. But I did. I sat there and laughed to myself at how many times I could just use a boob to unlock new things. And so now in my screen share or my screenshots, there are the pictures that it's just like a bunch of boobs in a row. If you put them in order, I'm just like, oh, look at all their nipples. Beautiful boobs. Nothing to be worried about. All great. They were all lovely and where they needed to be. Anywho. But I think that's all I could really say because I don't want to spoil the story in any way. But if you like FMVs, you like Sam Barlow. If you just like bizarro, what the hell is happening, disjointed storytelling, you'll love it. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People might care how long it is. Hold on.
I mean, with an FNV, I don't normally expect them to be super long.
You wouldn't think. Usually one full run of an FMV could be about 3 to 4 hours. But what's interesting with his games, though, is sometimes you'll trigger the ending end credits without having any freaking clue why. It's like there must be some algorithm in his games that if a certain percentage of a certain set of scenes are displayed, you can trigger the end game. You could totally keep going. You could totally keep going after it happens. But all of them have done that to me so far, where you're just playing, you're doing a thing, and then all of a sudden end credits happen, and you're left like, well, what did I do to do that? Can I go? And then you can go back and finish the stories and all the stuff that you want. So just keep that in mind too. You might trigger end game stupid early and have no idea why, but there's so much more to play. So I've not figured that out with his yet, how he decides that yours is just triggered and you get, because the same thing happened with me here in Immortality. I'm still scene hunting, and then I could see something different was starting to happen around, and I'm like, okay. And then as it kept going, and then the screen filled up with whatever was going to be happening, and did that, and I'm like, I have no idea what the last thing I did to make this happen did. So just because you got, I'll just say that, just because you got the credits doesn't mean you're done.
Right.
And I want to say it took me about a little over 20 hours, but I did go back and get all of the achievements. So that's also with me clicking around, bullying it through on my own, taking a break because I was getting frustrated because I clicked on all the water bottles and I'm like, nothing new is happening, So you just keep doing that. So, so that's about how long it took me for an achievement hunter. But
right.
I don't really know how long it would take from start to finish because I've heard different reports from people just like it just randomly all trigger, and none of us, I guess, seems to know what the percentage of seeing is for that, or we've just not dove into it. But I recommend it. It's only $20. You're getting a 17-hour movie, basically. And I actually did check it out on IMDb because I thought it was fun. I don't recommend it before you play, though, because it could spoil it with character names and things like that. So I don't recommend it before you go. But they actually had credits for all the 3 movies that was shot within there. And now I really badly want to see the full things if they even have it. Because a lot of the actors had 2 credits from that game for being like in the game itself and then whatever movie they shot for the game in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as they were cast as the actor playing an actor in the movie. It's whatever Inception weird crap going on there. But yeah, check it out. Check it out. Or watch a Let's Play if they don't get banned. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get around it because it's graphic. And maybe that was by design. To keep streamers from doing it too, because like with games like these, it is a little harder to stream it and then expect sales. I don't know. Like if you're just wanting it for the story and you've seen the story and you've seen the mechanics and you've seen how it played, I would imagine you may not care to buy it and play it. Yeah. Maybe each person's different, but I loved it. It was a good week for me. The Gallery, pick it up. Paul Rashid, keep them coming. Immortality, pick it up. Sam Barlow, keep them coming. I'm going to hit them up. I would love to talk to them. That's what I should do.
There you go. Let's do that.
That's what I should do if they're interested, or if they find me interesting enough, who knows. Paul's probably like, ugh, every time I've read one of her reviews, what is she doing? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know either. I just love your games, man. I don't know either.
He should be grateful for the flattery.
I don't know. He's very kind. Always was very gracious on there, but I always found it funny where it was just like, I don't know, man. I just love it. And I feel like I have to do something. But yeah, so 2 amazing FMVs. Pick them up. That'll take you a good weekend or so to get through, and you get a good story. And I'm like dying to talk to someone about Immortality, someone who's played through it. Like I would love to talk to someone about it because it's so weird.
I'll definitely have to look around and find it. I mean, I don't like. I love a good FMV. It's on Game Pass. Yeah, but that means I have to get Game Pass, and I know you're trying to wrap me into that. No,
well, I thought you did get it.
I one of those free trial things that I keep getting offered, and I keep taking advantage of, and then I never play anything.
Okay, well then never mind. I thought you already had it, so I was going to say it's on Game Pass. I totally went and bought it because, again, we've had this discussion. I want them to take my money and make more games, make bigger, better, weirder things. Because I mean, my God, if he could do this, I can't even imagine like if he had an even larger budget, how crazy these things would become. Oh yeah, it was also phenomenally well done, and I still can't get over how well the cast portrayed it for especially with the story that they were given, and that like you guys rock on. Like it was great. It was really great. I probably should have found something bad with it. That's why I put in there and I heard an achievement was bugged. I couldn't find anything wrong. I don't know. I loved it. Sorry.
That's your
I'm a shill.
That's fine.
I'm a shill. But check them out. I do. I highly recommend them both. And otherwise, at this point, I'm just going to keep rambling.
All right. We'll wrap the show up.
Yeah, let's do it. So that is our show. You can hit us up sometime on Twitter at Super Mega Crash, or go over to the Instagram to view the weekly icon art Steven puts his time and love into. You can also send an email to supermegacrash@gmail.com and support the show by liking and leaving reviews on your preferred podcast listening app, and even going to patreon.com/Pencil and Paper Productions. You want more content? Go over to YouTube and youtube.com/Pencil and Paper Productions. And we're getting better at Discord, so thank you. So come join us over there and help us continue to thrive. We've got all sorts of stuff going on in there now. It's not just Super Mega Crash, so you can have all sorts of fun things in the Discord. Links, I'm sure, are in the description below.
They are blue. And hey, check out our TikTok. I'm trying to do better with that, putting up fun little things.
Oh, yes. Maybe I should write that in, TikTok. Make that
I'm throwing it out there. I mean, I'm trying to kind of keep it alive by doing some stuff with the icons and kind of doing some fun stuff. There's other things I'd like to do, but they require planning.
Sure.
And, you know, I haven't quite got there
Maybe I should
yet.
actually download it. I don't know.
Maybe I should do short form TikToks of our animated characters. Come up with some like really 10, 15 second shorts.
I feel like that would take you longer than 10, 15 seconds, though. You might
But if they're only 10 to 15 seconds, it'd take me a day to put it together. Come on.
All right. Well, there you go. I guess I'll have to download it at some point just so I can see what you're doing.
We'll figure it out.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening. I am Lacia Finley.
And I'm Stephen White.
You can join us again next time, Super Mega Crash Siblings. But until then,
game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.